Hello and welcome. My name is Vanessa Ortali. I am the founder of the Ladies Community and Heart and Mind Talks. And today I have another interview for you for our online summit, The One. And the theme of this summit is one with purpose, one with self, and one with others. And today's interview, I am bringing to you Victoria Marshman. She is the co-founder of Stratus Events and City Moguls, and they run events for entrepreneurs. And so I wanted to, not with just in City Moguls, Stratus Events, they host lots of things, but specifically for City Moguls, they really focus on entrepreneurs. And so in today's chat, we're going to chat a little bit more about how Victoria got to where she is right now as an ex-professional ballerina and dancer, and how she found her purpose, and really how she and Stratus Events and her other co-founder, how they are able to build community and connect with others through their events and through everything that they do. We're going to give you some fun tips into how you can make that happen in your community also. So welcome, Victoria. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
happy to be a part of it.
This will be so fun. I'm so proud of you ladies and everything that you've created and how you've been able to continuously evolve and shift your brand to better serve your demographic. It's really great and you're doing amazing things.
I appreciate that coming from you. So thankful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's start super simple. How do you go from ballerina to event expert and co-founder of City Moguls?
Well, it starts with a lot of bad dance injuries. I'm sure a lot of people out there have had, careers in sports or anything that's hard on your body, but dance has always been my passion from like 5 years old. Everything was about dance my entire young life. And unfortunately, as I got older and did it professionally for some time, I got hit with so many bad injuries. So it unfortunately didn't work out as a career choice for me. So when life throws you curveballs, you've got to pivot. So I was always passionate about the human body, actually. Just, dance, it gives you such a connection with yourself that is hard to explain to people if they haven't had that feeling before. So I ended up going to U of T to study pre-med. Obviously that didn't work out. I'm not a doctor yet. Not in this lifetime. Maybe when I retire, who knows, maybe I'll become a doctor. But I ended up, while I was at university, meeting my co-founder, Danny Kagan. We met on the dance team, which is crazy that dance kind of brought us together, our passion for dance. And really, we kind of fell into events because we wanted to use our passion for the arts to create unique experiences for people. And really the foundations of City Moguls was built on us just wanting to inspire people and really inspire them to do what they love, but also to give back. So we started doing small grassroots events while we were at the University of Toronto, just, because we loved doing it. We loved bringing people out and inspiring them. And as that event evolved, we evolved, and we knew we wanted to be entrepreneurs. So we really evolved as people to bring City Moguls to life.
Yeah, that's awesome. What if people are doing events? What are your biggest tips? What do you see people doing wrong? And what do you make sure that you ladies do to make sure you're creating memorable experiences?
Well, I think the number one thing is, on paper, most events look the same, especially in the entrepreneur space. Most events, you're going to get like three things. You're going to go and network. You're going to go, learn some cool stories or get some advice from entrepreneurs, and you'll hopefully get an idea or get inspired to go do something. So I think for us, our number one thing is having something very unique that sets you apart from everyone else. So for us, for our signature event, the Mogul Awards, we're looking at how other entrepreneur communities celebrate entrepreneurship. And they do an amazing job. They have these beautiful award ceremonies where there's this complicated nomination process, and it all seems very competitive. And we're like, we just want to celebrate entrepreneurs in a super unique way. So we're like, let's throw them on the runway and see what happens. So that was kind of our unique pivot in making our, I guess, entrepreneur event stand out from the rest. But I think that's like a super important thing. What are you going to do in your events that's going to catch people's attention and maybe catch them off guard? Like, huh? Like make them think of like, that'll make you stand out from the rest.
And why did you decide to do events for entrepreneurs?
That really came from us because we, our other business, we actually run events for clients, Stratus events. So we produce galas, charity events. And so we were going out to events naturally to network with other entrepreneurs and other people in our industry. And we were just frustrated with the overall event experience at a lot of events. We just found they were thrown together and not a lot of thought was put into the whole experience from beginning to end, and pre and post the event, what you were getting out of and what you were, walking away with. We just felt the value wasn't there. Of course, there's a few exceptions to the rule, but as a whole, we really thought that we could bring our creative understanding of executing events well to specifically the entrepreneur community, because that was the community we were evolving in.
And it seems to the outside world that you ladies have been able to grow so quickly. How do you think you've done that, and what have been some of the key success factors for you?
I think our number one reason for success is getting the right people on board to be our champions. So you can only do so much yourself in one day. I mean, Danny and I were two people, so we could do a few things. But I think really getting people invested in what you're doing and getting them to get on board and get excited and become champions for your brand is huge. So for us, that's who we call our moguls. They're the people who initially were the ones who were selected to walk the runway for our signature event, the Mogul Awards. But now we're using them in a various amount of ways. They're speaking on panels at our Talk the Walk Summit. They're hosting sessions at our retreat up north. So not only are they integrated in our brand and our kind of our ambassadors and our experts that we look to really give us the information that we need to grow as entrepreneurs, but they're also speaking on our behalf all the time. Yeah. Which is really the key to success.
Yeah, you have done a really great job at building ambassadors, but then you've also built a really good advisory and committee board. How did you do that for people who are looking for mentors? How can they reach out and build that support system?
Yeah, I think especially over the last 5 years, because we've dabbled in different ways of structuring this support for all these big events that we do. I think you have to set expectations low and for people who want to get involved, because I remember in our first year when we had our committee, and you were a part of it too at one point, you'd be like, you have to sell this many tickets, you have to promote on social, our events, and listing all these things, and people are like, oh, like this is a lot, or this isn't my strength. So I think if you're open to letting people be involved in the way that they want to be involved, that's the best way to really get them on board. So rather than having, we almost overstructured ourselves in our first few years and have kind of scaled back in terms of our advisors and our committee so that it's a bit more customized to whoever the person is. So, there's some people on our board who give us marketing and legal advice on an ad hoc basis. There's other people that we meet with every week for an hour who we sit down and they destroy our marketing plans and rebuild them, right? So I think, like I said with our moguls, getting them invested in your ideas and painting them a picture of where you see your brand going is what's really helped us gain all of these people's support and advice, and not putting too much pressure on them to deliver on things that maybe they aren't their strength, like selling tickets or promoting
Yes.
on their social, you know?
What I love about this structure, and which I've used also myself and I
Yeah.
love to talk about, is you don't have to necessarily pay people to create a community of support around you. You're
Yeah.
saying you meet with people even weekly to chat marketing and expand your marketing plan. These are and are not necessarily people that they're paying. And so it's
Yeah.
how do you actually build that support system, mentors that will help you? What are some tips and advice you give people to find the right mentors and support system?
This is a challenge because I feel like when you're in new industries too, you feel like you have to find people that are in your industry to be your mentors. But we've actually had the most success with, you know, just openly having open conversations with people that are 5, 10, even 20 years ahead of us, who maybe are in completely different industries. But people love to share their knowledge. Like, that's the crazy thing. If you open up to them and you're vulnerable and you say, look, we don't know how to do this. Like, for Danny and I, we had little to no marketing background experience, none. We didn't go to school in it. It wasn't something that came naturally to us. So everything that you're seeing with City Moguls right now is really from these people and advisors and mentors, you know, see us being vulnerable with them and saying, how do we build this brand? How do we get ourselves out there? And people love to share what they know. It's just a matter of asking. I feel like so many people get that numb feeling about asking for things or knowing what to ask. And it's always playing to the person's expertise. What they know is what you should be asking them for advice on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I can't agree more. I have tons of amazing people that I can go to for support. Another key element I want to add is if you're going to go to people for support, make sure you're going to execute.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to ask them for help, you got to show up and actually do the work, or they're not going to continue helping you. It's not just like this free resource. People like to help people that are willing to put in the work.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. They want to
Yeah.
share what they know, and that's like the amazing thing about this community. And then they're accountable for you actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
What are some of the biggest things you've learned from a marketing angle that have allowed you to be where you are now?
Well, I mean, I think it's the importance of having a really strong marketing team, because even just the social media, don't even include newsletters or SEO or website, whatever, all the other digital components, even just social media is a full-time job. So I think really building a killer team is essential. Now for us, because we didn't have a big budget, we didn't have funding or anything like that to really build out a team. Our team actually built very organically from reaching out and getting co-op students to get involved with our with City Moguls. I don't know if you guys know a lot about this, but especially in Toronto, there's a ton of amazing programs at George Brown, Centennial College, where it's a requirement for students to do a placement for 5 to 6 months. So we've actually had about 3 or 4 students come on who do an internship with us, and you know, we hire them. So you know, they're really becoming a part of our organization, and we find the money to keep them after they do their program, because it's really worked for us to get them invested right from the get-go.
Yeah, it's true. There's so many other resources, and it's important to think out of the box. Even when I'm working with clients, and things that I've even used is you can also contra. You can offer your services for them
In
and in
exchange.
exchange for their services. So see if you don't have the budget, like Victoria has done so well, is how can you bring in the right people and figure out how to make it happen, even though you may or may not have the budget, because not having the budget isn't a good enough excuse.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Everyone at some point in this year that runs a business is going to have funding issues, cash flow issues. When there's a will, there's a way. And you know, yeah, you can't use the money excuse,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
I know.
There's always a way.
Yeah, let's chat a little bit more about entrepreneur world. Like you said, there's ups and downs. How do you think and how do you see the entrepreneur landscape changing? And how are you looking to service entrepreneurs? Because I know it's so important for you to fill in that gap and make sure that you're helping to both differentiate yourselves, but also serve entrepreneurs better.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an exciting time right now. Like entrepreneurship is on the rise. I just recently read Startup Canada did a great report this past year. They did a huge survey with over 1,000 entrepreneurs and collected some great data. And as I've evolved in my marketing knowledge, I've grown to appreciate and love data and information that's based on math. My mom would be so proud if she heard me say that, because I'm such a creative brain. This is like literally the gods are like, ah.
Hey, you were pre-med. There's some science and math that goes into that too.
Yeah, but I think for entrepreneurship as an industry or trends that are coming up, of course, is the rise of women. I mean, you are on it right now. Like, entrepreneurship in women is growing, especially in Canada. It's on the rise and it's going to continue to grow. And I think we have to pivot in supporting women, but also being inclusive of everything. I mean, this is something that we talk about in all industries, how important diversity, inclusivity is. But I think it's for entrepreneurship in Canada. It's such a critical piece that, for us for City Moguls, one of the biggest things for us, especially for our signature event, the Mogul Awards, is we want every aspiring entrepreneur or whoever's coming to our event to look at that runway and on one of those 20 entrepreneurs that we're featuring to see themselves on that stage and be able to look up and see someone that they emulate and love and adore and is like them like 20 years ago. So for us, that's a huge thing in all of our events, of course, is making sure everyone is represented and really championing it and supporting women, especially as female founders. In terms of the entrepreneurship landscape, I'm finding overall, it's the communities that support entrepreneurship are very industry specific. So they'll focus on tech, or they'll focus on marketing, or they'll focus on, it's very segmented. So one thing that we're trying to do is really be inclusive of all industries, because I think cross-industry connections, what we've seen with a lot of people in our community, is where they really truly grow, because you're learning things outside of your industry that can support yourself. So that's something we're really seeing, and is a huge component of everything we do at City Moguls.
Yeah, that goes back to even mentors. Most of my mentors are in different industries. And it's looking at how can you learn from their success in their industry, apply it to yours. And it helps you think outside the box and helps you just think of things in a different way. So I totally agree. Yeah. I also feel like in the entrepreneur world, there's more entrepreneurs now, and it's just going to continue rising. Even corporate companies are all subcontracting things and don't want to hire people on.
Yeah.
So I think, which is why I love what you're doing, is entrepreneurs are needing skills that they've never needed before. Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of people who are creative, like yourself, and or artistic. That's kind of the same thing. But then they're not really sure how to maybe execute from a business angle. So how do you give skills to people that they have never had to know before, and so that they can too be successful?
Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head. There's such a gap in skills when you dive into entrepreneurship, and I admire every single person that does, because it is the hardest choice you make in your life to dive into it. But I definitely think every community in entrepreneurship, including ourselves, we all need to strive to be able to provide better tools and support for the entrepreneurship community, because it can be very isolating, and trying to figure out everything on your own can be mind numbing. So, you know, Google, I almost feel like Google is so overwhelming now that sometimes you really just need to sit with a person that gets it, and them just like give you everything, like that mentor that you find.
There's almost too much information that people don't know where to turn. And that's where community, and like what you've been able to build with City Moguls, is so important, because then people then trust and like you, and they know that they can go to you. And I know that's why they have speaker panels, and now they're also launching a retreat. And so you continue to be able to service entrepreneurs in different ways.
Yeah. And I think that's the whole point, right? Is like, I might be the co-founder of City Moguls, but I am by no means the expert in entrepreneurship. I'm leaning on the moguls, the people who are on to business number 2, 3, or 4, or have been doing this for 20, 30 years, to tell us what it takes. So that's why we're creating these unique events and experiences beyond just the award show, for people to really spend time with these people. So at our Talk the Walk Summit, which is coming up on May 7th in Toronto, you know, we're limiting it to a small group of people, and we're having a lot of breakout sessions so that people can really sit and hear and listen from these people and ask the right questions and get what they need to get to the next phase of their journey.
Yeah, it sounds so exciting.
Yeah.
Talking about skills, I know self-development is also really important to you. What skills are you honing in on right now to continue to grow as an entrepreneur?
There's so many. I think for me, the biggest thing right now, I've always been a morning person, which my co-founder, Danny Kagan, is not on the same page as me, but that's okay, because we're all different. But I think finding when you are your most productive and maximizing that time is key. I don't know if any of you guys have read The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, but it profoundly changed and impacted my life, and kind of was my aha moment of, oh, this is what I need to do. So if you guys aren't familiar, he follows a formula where you wake up at 5 a.m. and you follow a 20-minute structure of doing 20 minutes of fitness right when you wake up. So sometimes I sleep no word of a lie with my workout clothes on, because that's my only motivator to get out of bed at 5 a.m. And then you do 20 minutes of some kind of spiritual growth. So that can be meditation, journaling, and then 20 minutes of professional growth. So reading a book that's helpful for you or your business, but just ensuring that you at least give yourself 1 hour a day that's dedicated to you and yourself before you go and tackle your business and destroy all your goals. So for me, establishing that morning routine has been huge, just for self-development, but also my productivity. I just find I'm way more focused throughout the day. Sometimes I need a nap, but that's okay. But I'm way more focused throughout the day. My mind wanders less. I have a much more strict relationship with my technology. I also find the noise of your phone and notifications and all of that can really interrupt your work schedule. So I really try to do focused work where I don't look at my phone for a few hours, and I really tackle those hard projects.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the morning routine is something so many leaders talk about. Even Tony Robbins, he says, if you don't have time for yourself, you don't have a life at all. And we sacrifice that, but then you're bringing your worst self to your day if you haven't taken that time to, what I call, like, I need to get into alignment before I can start my day.
Yeah. And I think it's, you know, so many of us now do things where we serve others, and we're so focused on other people. And that's for me is why I love doing City Moguls, is because I get to help and see so many entrepreneurs connect and grow. And, you know, that's what I love to do. But how am I going to be able to help them if I'm not putting into myself and ensuring that I'm showing up as my best self, right? So
Yeah.
it is important, and I feel like not enough people are taking it seriously, because it is really important that you do show up for yourself and put into yourself before you give to others.
Yeah. I've also really been into cold plunges lately. Have
I
you tried
saw
them?
that. Okay, well,
You're going to
have
have to try. Add them to your morning routine and let me know how this goes. Just fill up your bathtub with like freezing cold water and just get in. The breath is the most important. So now I'm like, before I even get into the bathtub, I breathe and just connect to my breath and then just plunge myself in. And I tell you, it's going to up your game.
But how long are you in there for?
A minute.
Wow.
Yeah, a minute.
I applaud you.
No, you have to try. It'll get so much easier, but I tell you, it'll get you into alignment super fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting yourself in positions of discomfort helps
Right?
helps you accomplish a lot of
It's pure
things.
torture. And you should see my boyfriend and I react to the cold plunge a little different. I have to just breathe and not say a word. And he outwardly shows a little bit more aggression than I do in the torture, but it's the same result. We both feel awesome.
There you go. It's so good for your circulation,
right?
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
I'm
Swedes.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure you had to too when you were healing from inflammation as a dancer and through athletics.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have.
Yeah.
I slipped 2 discs in my lower spine, my L5S1. So I still
Wow.
you know, I'm pretty much in pain all the time, or always managing pain. But it's one of those things. Pain is something that's so manageable, and it's so funny, especially if any of you out there have any back or hip problems. Like, I love to talk about this stuff because I went through my entire 20s in chronic back pain, where sometimes I couldn't even get out of bed. And for me, it wasn't the chiropractor, it wasn't the doctor giving me meds. It was me taking ownership of this injury and putting together a fitness routine and exercises every day to stay in shape, to manage it. So I think we can be our own worst enemies sometimes with pain. It's tough, and everybody has different pain thresholds, but dealing with that back pain has really given me a lot of resilience for pain, because I suffered so much through my youth, through a lot of pain.
Do you think it also helped you to master your mind though? Because even I was listening to an interview with Lady Gaga and Oprah, and Lady Gaga has a lot of pain. And she said that her actual mental therapist was more helpful. I believe she has fibromyalgia. And so it was more helpful than her actual physical therapy because it helped her head get right.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is my like science brain kicking in, but there is a lot out there that says, you know, especially for women, we hold a lot of emotions and stress in our lower backs and hips. So yeah, I think learning to manage your mental health and not holding things in. I'm a big crier. Good Disney movie. You got it. I'm crying up.
Commercials.
I do wear my heart on my sleeve, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes. But I think being able to let go of things and move forward and manage those emotions has been a huge thing for me. I used to like hold a lot of things in, which I think is that mental pain triggering things to feel like you're in physical pain, for sure.
Do you believe you're living your purpose?
I believe I believe I'm on a stepping stone to my purpose. I think this is just the beginning for me. I think City Moguls and I will be in a relationship for a long time, but I think there's many things to come after that.
That's so nice. Do you have any visions that you see for yourself in the future that you want to share?
Well, I think dance being such a big part of my childhood and my understanding of the world and seeing the world through dance, and being able to express myself, I still teach dance actually to kids, because I love it. I love just sharing my passion and teaching them everything I know. But I think I will come back to dance one day and hopefully do something for the arts community in Canada. It's so underserved, and it's such a critical part of culture and community. So I would love to continue to serve the dance community, but do something grand in dance. I'm just not quite sure what that is yet.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's always evolving and changing, right? I
Yeah.
think we're always in a stepping stone, and we don't know what it's going to look like in a year, let alone, in 5-10 years. So who knows?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think one thing, and I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs about this, is being open to things, because you never know what the universe is going to throw at you. Like, even in the last 3 months for us with City Moguls, we had all these plans, and we've gotten all these opportunities that we weren't really asking for. And I can't share them quite yet, but you guys will get updates soon. But it's crazy if you're open to things, like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool, and not being so closed-minded to other people's ideas or potential partnerships. It's crazy what will come knocking on your door without you even asking for it.
That's so fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
If people want to get updates from you, where can they
Yes.
find you and Danny and City Moguls and Stratus events?
Yeah, so head to citymoguls.com. Best thing to do is we send out a bi-weekly newsletter, which features entrepreneurs, gives you great advice and tips from our moguls, and also gives you updates on our events, discounts, which we all need. So definitely head to citymoguls.com and subscribe for our newsletter. For Stratus events, I'm just happy to give any event planning advice. I've been doing it, for over 12 years now. So I'm happy to just share what I know and hope that it helps you with events if you're currently planning them. Love to just share the advice. And if you need a few extra hands, we're your girls. We love to do it. So
yeah, they are very good at it. So I am their spokesperson for an event side. Definitely reach out to them. They know what they're doing, and they're a pleasure to work with. So thanks. Yeah. I'm so happy that you were able to come and chat today. I think in our conversation, people were definitely able to take out some snippets for how to build community, how to build better events, the entrepreneur landscape, and just how to differentiate themselves in a market that, some may consider as saturated. But I think those tools they can bring into any industry, like you have with your mentors and ambassadors. So thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yeah. This is so amazing.
So fun. Thank you. Well, thanks for listening, and thank you for being here. I hope that in listening to this, it allows you to think of your business a little bit different. And maybe if you're waiting for that little entrepreneur push, this was that as well. But reach out and get all the resources you need, whether it be through support or mentors. You do not have to go at it alone. So thank you for listening. And thanks again, Victoria. We will chat with you soon. Bye.
Thank you.